Lagos State Government commences farmers registration under Produce for Lagos program. Federal government targets food security through cold chain, livestock health. And Farrington, Denmark short airport amid drone security scare. And in sports, Nigeria's hodler Toby Amuson rises to third in world rankings. And now the details. I am Mike James. Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems has commenced the registration of farmers operating in Lagos State under the Produce for Lagos program. Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Systems, Abisola Olusoya, said the strategic initiative is designed to stimulate increased food production for the Lagos market through structured offtake agreements. Olusoya said with a population of over 24 million residents and rapid urban growth, Lagos remains the single largest consumer of food in Nigeria. She said under this initiative, farmers will enjoy direct access to a secure market where their produce will be purchased at guaranteed prices. According to Olusoya, this arrangement will reduce the risk of quality and volume fluctuations, promotes price stability for consumers, increase farmers' incomes, expand opportunities for interstate agricultural trade, enhance logistics and distribution networks, and strengthen the entire food supply chain. The Lagos State Government, through the Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency (DSVA), has convened a symposium on the impact of sexual and gender-based violence (SGBV) on labor and organizational productivity in the workplace. The event brought together over 130 professionals from the banking, oil and gas, hospitality, FMGC, and trade union sectors. In her address, Executive Secretary of the SVA, Titilola Vivo Adeni, emphasized that SGBV is not only a human rights violation, but also a major economic challenge. Citing the 2018 Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey, Vivo Adeni revealed that Nigeria loses an estimated $3.0 billion annually, about 1% of its economic output due to gender-based violence. She further highlighted findings from a recent survey of 549 professionals, which showed that over 70% of respondents had experienced some form of workplace harassment. 89.3% knew someone who had been affected, and only 4.5% reported never encountering harassment. Viva Adeni added that this reality underscores the urgent need for enforceable workplace policies that prohibit misconduct and promote dignity, respect, and inclusivity. Electricity workers under the aegis of the National Union of Electricity Employees, NUEE, have suspended their nationwide strike after the federal government intervened in the dispute between the Transmission Company of Nigeria, the National Independent System Operator, NISO, and the sector's in-house unions. The decision came after a marathon meeting convened in Abuja by the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, with support from the Federal Ministry of Labour suits and attended by representatives of NUEE and the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies. The strike, which had threatened to plunge Nigeria into a prolonged blackout, was halted following the signing of a memorandum of understanding aimed at addressing long-standing labor grievances. According to the agreement reached, the unions consented to the minister's request to review the committee report on workers' demands between October 6 and 7. It was also agreed that TCN and NISO would jointly assess the financial implications of the report, prepare an implementation plan, and reconvene with the minister and union representatives for further action. Implementation of the resolutions is expected to commence later this month. And now to the rest of the stories. The federal government says it has taken decisive steps to integrate renewable energy solutions with veterinary reforms in a bid to strengthen food security, livestock development, and rural health systems. Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, Abba Aliyu, and the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Maiha, said this known at the off-grid refrigeration interception workshop in Abuja. The two government officials said this process will begin with the deployment of off-grid refrigeration to ease the transportation of vaccinations and bridge critical gaps between livestock, health, and agriculture. They added that the initiative would help curb post-harvest losses, improve the preservation of agricultural produce, and strengthen healthcare delivery across the country. The Defense Headquarters says troops arrested over 120 criminals, including 26 terrorist collaborators, and rescued 41 kidnapped victims in nationwide operations conducted between September 14 and 22. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kanye, said the operations took place across all theaters: the Northeast, Northwest, North Central, South, and Southeast. Kanye commended troops for their resilience and professionalism, urging the public to support the military with timely intelligence. In some foreign news, the sight of a suspected drone briefly shuttered a Danish airport on Friday for the second time in a few hours, after the country's Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, said the flights were part of a hybrid attacks that may be linked to Russia. Drones have been seen flying over several Danish airports since Wednesday, causing one of them to close for hours after a sighting earlier this week prompted Copenhagen airports to shut down. That followed a similar incident in Norway, drone incursions in Polish and Romanian territory, and a violation of Estonian airspace by Russian fighter jets, which raised tensions in light of Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Moscow has firmly rejected any suggestion that it was involved in the Danish incident, as its embassy in Copenhagen called them a staged provocation in a post in social media. Denmark will later today join EU countries, mostly along the eastern border with Russia, in the first talks on proposals to build a wall of anti-drone defenses in the face of the tensions with Moscow. Over to sports news. Nigeria's hurdler Tobi Amusan has climbed to third place in the latest World Athletics 100 meters hurdles, making her Nigeria's highest-ranked athlete following her silver medal at the World Championship in Tokyo. The 28-year-old, who is the world record holder, rose from ninth place to third after scoring 1,430 points, moving in behind United States' Grace Stark, who tops the rankings, and newly crowned world champion Ditaji Kambunji of Switzerland, who sits second. Amusan also made a major leap in the overall women's rankings, rising 40 places from 68 to 28. She's currently the only Nigerian woman inside the global top 100 after Favour Fili, who previously featured, dropped out following her switch to allegiance to Turkey and absent from the championships. That was our news at noon. Just before we go, carry out proper and adequate checks on your vehicles before setting out. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs. It's live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. You can also listen to Lagos Traffic Radio live on my Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration completed and unveiled Ijeda Road Phase 1 in Ikorodu? Well, you can get more details. It's on the Legacy Government website and to end the news. Here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems has commenced the registration of farmers operating in Lagos State under the Produce for Lagos program. The federal government has taken decisive steps to integrate new renewable energy solutions with veterinary reforms in a bid to strengthen food security, livestock development, and rural health systems. We also told you that the sight of a suspected drone briefly shuttered a Danish airport on Friday for the second time in a few hours, after the country's Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, said the flights were part of hybrid attacks that may be linked to Russia. In sports, Nigeria's Hodla Tobi Amuso has climbed to third place in the latest World Athletics 100 meters hurdles rankings, making her Nigeria's highest-ranked athlete following her silver medal at the World Championships in Tokyo. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fagbalagun. Thank you so much, Lagos, for listening. My name is Mike James. Good afternoon.